Imagine being one of the only guys showing up to these single events only to get ignored by a room full of women because you aren't tall enough, good-looking enough, rich enough, interesting enough, and the list goes on. When women reject men, it is usually aggressive, cruel, humiliating, and right to your face. When men reject women, it is usually gentle, kind, downplayed, and subtle, like just not attending a singles event. Which one is the empathetic gender again? Given that men are the ones who need to be given the motivation to go to these events, the planners should be challenging the women and letting the men in for free. Those thirsty, desperate women will pay just like men pay at bars. Going to a singles event as a man is like walking into Judge Judy's court, except there are 50 of them, and all are 100 times more judgmental. Just imagine entering an event room of 200 women. The instant judgmental elevator looks from every woman in the room, and then the quiet hum as they bend towards each other to comment on you not being George Clooney while you stand there ignored and smiling. And now you have to go to the nearest table and start breaking the ice. Wow, what a treat, it's true. The men they want don't need a singles event. Since they check all the boxes, they get attention from women wherever they go. And since men in general have no problem approaching a total stranger in any place, they can get a woman's number whenever they want. And honestly, men attend a singles event every time they step outside. It's like Night of the Living Dead, as hordes of women aged 30 to 60 are all looking for a meal ticket and a retirement plan, wandering around aimlessly and not knowing what to do now that no one wants them. They have gone feral. They cannot form relationships or attachments as they have been running in the wild for too long. Men are sick of being labeled creeps or perverts for approaching or even merely admiring women. We are simply fulfilling your request and letting you be. The adage, "Be careful what you ask for because you just might get it," is relevant in my opinion. There are very few women left to pick from if you're seeking a relationship after you eliminate all the ones covered in tattoos, piercings, pink hair, clown outfits, or almost no clothes at all, aggressive and hostile attitudes. The alternative is just hooking up, which many women claim is insufficient. Men party with them and move on, which makes sense given the circumstances, or even more so nowadays, men simply don't engage because the payoff just isn't worth the hassle, and the juice isn't worth the squeeze. Men just don't want to deal with feminists, and nearly all of the women out there are feminists. In the meantime, these men are developing their careers, hobbies, and friendships. Most of these men will wait until they are well into their 30s before getting married. Because we're starting to recognize that we're the prize, the breadwinners, and the heads of marriage. Men checked out long ago. Men are simply too competitive when it comes to relationships. For our position, women are vying for it. That's okay, just don't keep coming back wailing, pleading, and beseeching for those of us males you lost by undervaluing yourself. Knowing how biased and crooked the law is against us men, we aren't rushing to your beckoning call or falling for the theatrical Oscar-type waterwork performances. Even innocent men were failed by females and the law. We chose to take away the blessing of marriage. You all know that the family court system needs to be reformed. Do you want to lose half or more of everything? Think about it long and hard. Marriage is not worth the mental, emotional, and financial risk. Spread the message. Tell every man you know. Singles events can be troublesome since guys don't want to be interrogated and analyzed for hours, especially when the prize is an older single woman who hates you and all men and has children from previous marriages. Why attempt at all? That seems really dull. That is dreadful. Male attendees of these one-sided events, which are more analogous to employment interviews, are undoubtedly charged for their attendance. This just helps, in my opinion, to highlight how ignorant the women who plan singles events are. Men and women go about dating in very different ways. Sincere question: what do these ladies really want if a decent relationship isn't good enough and a fantastic relationship is only the minimum? They seek out the very finest that the cosmos has to give. It essentially demonstrates the key distinction between men and women in terms of dating and everyday life. For instance, a man who desires a Ferrari understands that he will have to put in a lot of effort to achieve his goal. Women, meanwhile, will only make an effort to exhibit it. They believe that having a typical boyfriend who merely loves her and she can trust, a typical home and a typical automobile is, at best, settling, or at worst, this delusion that they are owed the very best that life has to offer is the reason why so many women set themselves up to fail. Women go to those places in packs, so separating one from the herd is almost impossible. Kind of a waste of time for guys. So, if a woman asks, what is wrong with men? Nothing, we have reasonable standards and want our partners to have the same. We want an actual partnership that is based on mutual respect and understanding. We want a peaceful life at home, not a combative shrew to add to the daily stresses of life. It's that simple, guys. The problem is that most women have no sense of time. They believe that life is a story of a rainbow princess revolving around them. If they hit the hard wall at 35 and are still single, it will be almost impossible for them to get a partnership. Then at 40, men start dying and the pool of available men shrinks a lot. Women are ruining relationships, marriages, families, and men. I have no empathy for them and just ignore them. Another problem is most women attending these events are already active on at least one dating platform where they are used to being adorned, ignoring men, or having their pick. For them, the expectation is a buffet of high-value men. They won't settle for a street hot dog, they rather complain, not even realizing that they are the problem. Let's put it differently. If I knew there was a 1:4 or 1:20 ratio of males to females, and I was just out for some fun, the stakes seem pretty good. So why would I still not attend? Might be the women in attendance? The sad and amusing thing about these singles events is that they ask the guys to pay while women get a free pass. Imagine that. If it costs $1,000 for men and $0 for women, naturally there are going to be more women than men at the event. But what's in it for men? The men that are there are probably more interested in a high-class professional woman who sells her services rather than someone they want to make a commitment to. At $1,000 a head, the men are not going to walk away with a woman who is fat, has kids, or is ugly. They are expecting someone much better than that. Someone who can be of value. Personally, I think what's wrong is that there are still too many men who haven't realized that they have the power to ignore these toxic beings. They still buy into the BS. Fortunately, that number is slowly reducing and women are starting to notice. That's why they're angry. Keep it up, guys. Hitting them where it hurts and the lack of validation is the only way to get ahead. At singles events, the bulk of regular males are invisible to modern women. Nearly none of us want to face untrue accusations in the future simply for sharing an area with a mad person. The juice is usually not worth the squeeze once we get over the obstacles of meeting and finding someone we enjoy being with. There are very few women that attend these parties. If there are any, they are either the kinds of women that normal guys want to steer clear of, or they are naive and have never attended. A decent wife is not someone you meet at a strip club. Therefore, it is true that contemporary women are surprised that men no longer seek out single gatherings. The fact that they are unaware of the reason is even more astonishing. Men just need to balance the expenses and dangers with the potential advantages. While the expenses and hazards continue to rise, the rewards for them continue to decline. Only the bluest-eyed doormat believes that it is a man's duty to serve women without hesitation, like a robot. However, this is no longer the case. What we're witnessing now has been building up for a while and we've reached the point of no return. Men are pulling back from society en masse because for years, we've been told that we don't matter and that the future is female. We've been told that we're naturally toxic and are labeled as creeps whenever we show interest in a woman. We finally had enough disrespect and we are going our own way. Focus on your purpose and enjoy your peace. Thanks for watching The Circle of Kings. As always, we're looking forward to your support. So please hit the like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to the channel to stay updated with everything all kings like yourself need to know.